and welcome to our In Business Talks 2 podcast. We've spoken to lots of experts who've shared their advice, but we realise we haven't shared with you our knowledge and experience of networking. So we've put together a mini-series called Networking Nuggets, where we delve into the art and science of building powerful professional relationships through business networking. I'm Ian.
Hello, and I'm Tracey, and in each episode we'll explore strategies, share stories and provide practical tips to help you expand your network, unlock new opportunities and boost your career. Whether you're a seasoned networker or you're just starting out, you're in the right place.
Together we've been running dynamic and engaging events for almost 7 years, witnessing firsthand the incredible collaborations and lasting relationships that form when people come together. Whether online or face-to-face, our relaxed and informal networking events in Leeds, York, Harrogate, Wakefield and Wetherby are designed to create a no-pressure environment where meaningful connections can flourish.
In each episode we'll share some of our most valuable insights that we've gathered from our years of hosting these events. From unexpected partnerships to lifelong friendships, we've seen it all, and we can't wait to help you unlock the potential of your professional network. So grab a cuppa, settle in and join us as we dive into another Nuggets of Networking Wisdom. Today we're kicking off our journey with the basics. So what is business networking, why it matters and how can you get started? Networking isn't just about collecting contacts, it's about cultivating relationships that can help propel your career and your business forward.
To start with, let's try and define what business networking is, and we think this sort of fairly simple statement sums it up quite nicely. In simple terms, it's the process of establishing and maintaining a mutually beneficial relationship where you share knowledge, opportunities and support with other business people and potential clients or customers.
Exactly, that sums it up really well, I think, Ian. And if we look back, business networking has evolved so much over the years, but if you think about it, networking has always been around. People have always networked.
Yeah, definitely.
Even back, we took a trip to Pompeii and Herculaneum a few years ago, didn't we?
Yeah.
And apparently even the Romans, in Roman times, people networked and they did deals together whilst they were in the Roman baths.
Yeah, how good is that? Having a bath and networking. Yeah.
I don't think we'd do it now.
No. Pompeii, Herculaneum, well worth a visit if you ever get the opportunity. Amazing place. It's like stepping back in time. I loved it.
You digress.
Sorry.
Anyway,
Sorry.
We're talking about network. And groups like the Masons and the Rotary Club, they seem to have been around for a long time as well, haven't they? And they're all basically networking organisations, but they seem to be exclusively attended by men. But that's just how it was. It was a male-dominated arena, I guess, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. All the networking then would have been male-dominated, I would have thought.
Yeah, even sort of in the Victorian era, I suppose there was gentlemen's clubs and, they'd be...
I wonder if the women networked then though as well. They must have had gatherings. I've never thought about this before, but women must have gathered in places and sort of networked, swapped secrets or recipes and things. Is that,
well,
just a thought.
Were women in business then? Were there as many women who...
I wouldn't have thought so, would you?
No,
not many.
They'd probably just see it as socials, wouldn't they?
Yeah, true. Social networking, but they were networking.
Yeah, it was. It was a different era.
Yeah. Sorry, I digressed there, didn't I?
We digressed quite a lot.
Threw you a curved ball there, didn't I?
Yeah, it did.
Go on.
I think in the 20th century was the start of the creation of like the Chamber and Commerce and stuff.
I suppose a lot of networking took part there as well, didn't it, really, if you think about it?
Well, it did, yeah.
More businessy, wasn't it? Chambers of Trades and Commerce and things.
Yeah. Now, even more recently, when you think about it, most of the networking groups, they were primarily face-to-face events, but obviously since COVID, technology such as Zooms and Teams are really playing an important part in connecting us online.
Different ways to network now.
As we said, it was a very male-orientated thing, with men in suits standing around drinking coffee or whatever, but that really has changed now, and there's so many different types of event. You can go to all female events, well, if you're a woman you can, industry specific events, wellness events we heard about the other day, didn't we?
Wellness event,
and just general fun events. We did a cookery school event earlier on this week, and,
it was great fun, wasn't it? Something a bit different.
So just different, but it's just bringing people together with a common interest, I suppose.
Yeah. I mean, you mentioned there about how technology has changed the networking game. Networking isn't just about face-to-face meetings anymore. When you've got platforms like LinkedIn and X and even Instagram, networking, I think, has become more accessible. You're not just limited to your local area like you used to be. It allows you to go nationally or globally, and social media and online platforms have made that possible. It's made a big difference now.
They have. I mean, if you can deliver what, your line of business, if you can deliver it digitally or virtually, then the sky's the limit, isn't it?
Yeah, no reason why you can't do it.
You can't do it, yeah. I mean, there's pros and cons, isn't there, for both online and face-to-face networking. We know that online can save you time because you just have to turn up like 5 minutes before the event, and when it's over you can get straight back to work, obviously after you've had a cup of tea.
Of course.
But it can save you money because there's no travelling expenses, but it also saves you the time because you're not travelling, so that means that you're not losing money.
Yeah.
If you think about it, if it takes you an hour to get to a face-to-face networking event, then that's 2 hours in total travelling time in which you could be dealing with your client work. So by attending online events, you're getting back that valuable time.
Which is a cost as well, isn't it? Saves you money in that way as well.
Well, it is a cost. Obviously there's benefits to attending.
I mean, obviously some people say that the benefits of attending face-to-face events are that you build better relationships with people in person, but I'm not convinced about that at all.
No, me neither.
I'm not convinced about that. We've met some great people online who we've got some great business relationships with.
Yeah.
Definitely.
It'd be interesting to see what other people think about that.
And there's a lot of successful online networking groups out there. So
there is? You mean like in business?
I didn't mention it, but yeah, but there are, aren't there? There are successful groups out there where people network online.
Yeah, and only online. They don't do
anything else.
Yeah, they don't do the face-to-face stuff, do they?
Yeah.
So, but it's not just about making connections online, is it? It's about leveraging these tools to build meaningful relationships. And I suppose that brings us then on to the benefits of having a strong network.
Yep. I mean, let's face it, a strong network can open up sort of numerous opportunities. It can lead to new business ventures. I mean, in some instances, sort of potential job opportunities and collaborations. And the biggest thing, I think, it's a great way to share knowledge and insights which can be incredibly valuable. You get a lot of information from people who've been there and already done it. So when you're at networking events and you talk to these people, there's a lot of knowledge out there.
There is, and yeah, that is great. So yeah, I mean, it is about the support. So having that network means there's people you can turn to for advice and encouragement, and just even sometimes a bit of a reality check, because we often get ahead of ourselves, don't we? And we go off on a tangent thinking something's, this is going to be a great idea. It's going to be the next big thing for my business. It's going to make me £1 million. And then just having others around you to sort of bounce that idea off can be a huge benefit. They might say, no, what the hell are you talking about?
Or they could come up with an alternative or a suggestion that makes it better.
Absolutely, yeah. So it could save us sort of hours of time and potentially wasted money by just having other people to sound your ideas off.
Yeah. I think there are quite a few misconceptions out there about business networking as well.
Oh God, there is, yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Mean, I'd say the biggest misconception about networking is that it's all about self-promotion, about selling yourself, but you're not there to sell, are you? It's not just about what you can get out of this relationship, but it's about what you can give as well. I know we keep saying it, but it's all about building relationships.
The most important thing is about building relationships. What do we say?
The best business comes from the best relationships.
Exactly. Yeah. You're right about the misconceptions, but business networking is crucial. It's a crucial skill, isn't it, for personal and professional growth, I think. And here's some examples of what I think are the main misconceptions about business networking and why we believe they're sort of incorrect.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, so would you say that networking is only for job seekers?
No, I don't know where this one came from, but networking is beneficial for everyone. It's not just for job seekers. It's for business owners, and it's regardless of your current employment status. It helps in building relationships that can lead to new opportunities, partnerships, and collaborations, which we know work well. And effective networking can also provide insights and support and advice that are valuable throughout sort of a person's career. But it's not just for job seekers.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so another one is networking is about collecting as many business cards as possible.
I used to have a really healthy collection of business cards.
My word.
Boxes of them. You made me throw them out not not too long ago, I think. And some went way back. They're almost like antiques, some of them. But
yeah. You had a good day at recycling centre.
Yeah, I did. I mean, but the value of networking lies in the quality of connections, not the quantity. I've realised meaningful, genuine relationships are far more beneficial than a large number of superficial contacts. People, you take a card off and never really intend to speak to them or whatever. So building trust and rapport with a smaller network can often lead to more significant opportunities and support as well.
Absolutely, yeah. Another misconception: networking events are the only place to network.
Nope, definitely not. This is a really big one, isn't it? I mean, some people just don't get it. While networking events are sort of common, networking can happen anywhere, can't it? Online, through social media platforms like LinkedIn. At informal gatherings, you've got weddings and parties and things like that, haven't you? Or even a casual conversation down in the local pub.
Or sat on the bus.
Or sat on the bus, yeah. I mean, I'm going to say where you were going to sit on then.
What?
You said sat on the bus, you panicked me there. But I wondered where you were sitting. Being open to networking sort of in various settings can sort of enhance your opportunities and to connect with others.
Yeah, it's just looking out for those opportunities.
And even on the bus, yeah.
Do you need to be an extrovert to network effectively?
Not at all. Not at all. I think personally, introverts are perhaps the best networkers in a lot of instances because they're excellent networkers that do effective networking. It's about building genuine connections, isn't it? And listening and showing interest in others. And I think introverts often excel at the sort of like the one-to-one interactions where they can have deep, meaningful conversations, and that helps to create strong, meaningful relationships, which is what you want, isn't it? That's what you want to achieve.
Yeah, they have good listening skills, don't they?
Yeah. So introverts obviously make very good networkers, so that's not an issue if you are introverted.
Okay. Networking's about promoting yourself.
No, it's not just about promoting yourself, is it? Or seeing what you can get from others, but it's about what you can give. Offering help, sharing knowledge, and being supportive can make you a more attractive contact and can lead to sort of more reciprocal and productive relationships in business.
Does networking give you immediate results?
Definitely not. Very rarely, I would say. Networking, it's a long-term investment in time and effort. Building trust and relationships does take time, and the benefits may not be, immediately apparent. Consistent effort and patience are required, and it's not a quick win. Networking is not a quick win. I mean, you don't go to events. Please don't expect to get business when you turn up to an event. It doesn't like that because people don't know you. Why would you give business to someone you've met for the first time at an event? No.
Hey, I mean, it does happen on occasions, doesn't it?
Rarely, I would say.
But it definitely is a slow burn.
Yeah.
And once you've built up your network, do you need to continue networking? Is it myth that you don't need to continue networking?
No, you cannot stop. Once you're networking, you have to keep networking because it's an ongoing process, isn't it? If you think about it, you've got to maintain relationships. You've got to nurture these over time as well. You're continually expanding and refreshing your network as well. Some people sort of like drop off and people get added on, and so it's people change roles. Industries evolve and new opportunities arise. So no, it's not a one-time thing. You've got to keep networking. It's an ongoing process. Understanding and sort of overcoming these sort of misconceptions can lead to help you to be a more effective and having a rewarding networking experience. I think ultimately it enhances your personal and professional growth as well. So they're just misconceptions. They really are.
Put them to bed then. So what about the common fears and anxieties that people have around networking? I mean, this is a biggie, isn't it? I mean,
yeah, definitely.
Especially when you're starting out, that people worry that they're going to say the wrong thing. They're worried that they don't know what to say. They're worried how to start a conversation, or that they're just going to look silly. And this is one that I think is a big one. Is no one's going to speak to them. They don't know who to approach, and they don't know. They just don't know anybody at the event, so they probably think, "Oh, I'm not going to go. I don't know anybody." But that's not the point of networking, is it?
Yeah.
Everyone, I'm sure, has experienced some or all of these fears when you're first networking, and it can be really intimidating. It's not easy to put yourself out there, but it is important to remember that everyone's in the same boat.
Definitely.
If you think about it, there'll be people there who are old hands at networking, but there's still going to be some who are less confident and less experienced. So everyone is there to meet people at an event. You know, that's the whole purpose of going.
Yeah,
So
that's why they're there. If you think about, they're not scary, really, because they're there like you to meet you. They want to meet you. So it's people are wanting to meet people. So even if they're brilliant networkers or not so sure, it's all about meeting people. And that's why they're there.
Network, it's all about being approachable and genuine, isn't it? People appreciate authenticity, and that's what helps in forming those lasting connections.
You've got to be authentic, I think another interesting thing, or another interesting angle, is what I've thought about is things like what's the networking versus traditional marketing sort of relationship? And if you think about it, they complement each other. Networking and traditional marketing are basically two sides of the same coin, I suppose.
Yeah.
While you've got traditional marketing that creates awareness and interest to a degree, networking helps in building trust and relationships that can convert into long-term business. So part of the same thing. Another thing people ask is, how do you measure the success of your networking efforts? Well, success at networking can be measured in a number of ways, really. It depends how you want to measure it. It could be, for example, the number of meaningful connections you've made, how many people you've spoken to at an event, how many follow-up one-to-ones have you made, and the number of opportunities that have come your way, or even the personal growth. I mean, have you learned something new at the event? What have you experienced through the interaction? So you can measure success in various ways.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's not always down to how much business you get, is it? There are all these other things that
there's some things that are not intangible things, like something you've learned is a big benefit to your business.
It is.
So that's a win, isn't it?
Now I know that meeting lots of people and different types of people can also be really important. I know, like, a diverse network brings different perspectives, doesn't it, and ideas and experiences, and it also sort of fosters creativity and innovation, because there's people who will have different ideas about things, and like we said before, they might come up with a better solution to a problem that you've got that you wouldn't even thought of because you don't think that way.
Yeah.
So, and all these things are sort of crucial for any business to thrive.
Yeah.
I know we've witnessed this at a lot of our events, both online and face-to-face, haven't we?
Yeah, and just having a general conversation sometimes can spark an idea in yourself. It might not be mentioned in the conversation, but some word or phrase they might say might spark something in you that leads you to think, oh, I could convert that or make that into or do that or whatever. So you never know where a conversation will lead. So yeah.
Today's guest is Sarah Bradley of the HR department. Welcome, Sarah. Lovely to see you.
Welcome, Sarah.
Hi, Ian and Tracey.
Good to have you with us today. Before we start, I suppose we should start by asking you if you'd like to tell us a little bit more about who you are and what you do, Sarah.
Thank you. Yeah, so the HR department I'm based in Leeds, so I'm the HR department Leeds, and we offer small, medium-sized companies all of the support they ever require from HR and employment law services. So anything from recruitment to retirement and everything in between, supporting small business owners with all of their people problems.
Excellent, thank you.
Okay. So far, in this episode, we've talked about what business networking is and why it matters, and how people can get started, really, because it is hard, isn't it, at the beginning when you're getting started. So we know that networking is not just about collecting business cards. It's about cultivating those relationships, and that'll help you propel your career and your business forward. So when you first started networking, what were your biggest fears?
My biggest fear was definitely walking into a room full of strangers. Walking into somewhere where you don't know anybody and wondering what to talk about for the conversation. It was most definitely helped by choosing good networking groups with hosts like yourself, Ian and Tracey, who make an absolute effort to introduce you to each other and keep you involved in conversation. That's really valuable in a networking group.
Oh, thanks, Sarah. It's I think it is a common fear, is that of people. It's the one that crops up the most, and it is hard, isn't it? If you haven't been before and you don't know what it's all about, it is that initial. Ugh.
It's probably one of the most daunting things in the world to walk walk into a room full of strangers, isn't it? Because you do have all these fears, don't you? Oh my God, what am I going to say? And will I sound like an idiot and all that sort of thing? And these are all business people. What do I know? And things like that. And it's really not like that when you get in there, is it? You're just having conversations. So it's scary, but it's not really once you get going.
No. And what was the turning point then that made you realise the power of networking?
I think over the years for me, actually my turning point's been the power of the connections that help me service my clients. So not providing my own clients with HR services, but when my clients say to me, do you know somebody who does insurance? Do you know somebody who does network support? Do you know somebody that does IT? Do you know somebody that does coaching and sales development? I can introduce them to those connections because of the connections I've made networking. So my clients now know that I can probably pretty much put them in touch with any business connection they need to know. And that's been really powerful for me to be able to support my clients beyond just the HR services I can provide.
Yeah, it's quite a valuable tool, really, isn't it, to be able to do that, to help people in other ways as well. Yeah,
you're giving them extra value, aren't you, I suppose?
So can you sort of share a sort of personal story where networking sort of significantly impacted your business? Can you give us an example?
I think it's just the connections that you meet initially. When they come back to you, you've been networking, but a year or 18 months later, they're coming back to you and saying, I'd now like to sign up to your services. So I think that's just a reminder for people that you don't make the connections, you don't build the relationships just by jotting about, turning up to one group and then thinking, where's my business afterwards? You've got to keep getting to know people. It is building that trust and relationship. But the networking groups I were in my first year, I got business from them. But then those clients passed me on to their contacts as well. So it's realising that real tale around it's not who's necessarily in the room, it's who the room can introduce you to.
Yeah.
It is absolutely true. It does work.
And it is a bit of a slow burn, like you say, isn't it? It's not just a quick fix and, go to one meeting, get 2 clients. It's not like that, is it?
Definitely not, no.
Okay, Sarah, so if you had to boil it right down and take it to its lowest common denominator, shall we say, why do you go networking? What's your reason for networking?
The reason changes over years. So I've been in business 6 years now. And when you first go, you're building that network. And then at my stage now, I'm doing it because I enjoy the company of the people that go networking regularly. We're still making connections and we're still creating referrals for each other, but you build real true friendships and relationships. There are some groups that you just don't want to leave because their relationships are so good after the amount of time you've been supporting each other. The room full of strangers become your trusted partners. Yeah. It's no longer a room full of strangers, and you're the one that's welcoming the strangers and helping them the same way that other people helped you when you first went networking.
Oh, that's a lovely way to look at it.
Excellent. Good reason, really nice. Yeah.
Oh, jolly good. Well, thank you so much for joining us, Sarah, today. Sorry we had a bit of a dodgy internet connection.
A few technical issues.
But thank you so much for joining us, and no doubt we'll see you very soon.
Take care.
Bye. Bye, Sarah. Bye.
Bye.
Great, I've enjoyed our conversation today. So before we wrap up, let's leave our listeners with a challenge, shall we? Okay. Come on, Tracey. What's one actionable step you think our listeners can take right now to kickstart their networking journey?
Oh, that's a good question, Ian. I guess my suggestion is to start by identifying one face-to-face event or an online group where they can meet new people in their industry, maybe. Set a goal to introduce themselves to at least 3 new contacts.
Yeah, good goal.
And remember, it's about making genuine connections, not just about collecting business cards.
That's a good challenge here, I think we've set them. Okay, great advice, Tracey. And for those of you who've enjoyed today's episode, don't forget to subscribe to our In Business Talks podcast. Leave us a review. Share this podcast with your friends and connect with us on social media. We'd love to hear your thoughts and experiences because we like networking. Mm-hmm. Okay, so we've laid the sort of groundwork about networking now, but there's so much more to explore. In the coming episodes, we'll dive deeper into preparing for a networking event, for making connections and following up, and we'll give you some tips and tricks on avoiding some of the common pitfalls as well.
Yeah. And we'll have some fantastic guests joining us, sharing their stories, strategies and secrets to successful networking.
Thank you, listeners, for tuning into our networking nuggets. Remember, networking is about building relationships, sharing knowledge and supporting each other.
Until next time, let's keep connecting, learning and growing. Because together we are in business. Goodbye.
Goodbye.